Hello everyone, welcome back to Analog IAS Current Affair Analysis for 3rd May 2021. In this video, we'll be dealing with this couple of issues. Public buildings and fire safety rules. We are talking about the capacity of local governments to handle this issue of fire safety. If you take a look at the Constitution, fire services in India come under the 12th schedule of the Constitution. So there is an article 243W. This provisions are there in that particular article, and the performance of functions listed in the 12th schedule comes under the domain of municipalities or local governments. So fire prevention, firefighting services are organized by states, union territories and urban local bodies jointly. So this is the constitutional provision and the division of labor. Fire services in some states like Gujarat, Chhattisgarh, etc., under the respective concerned municipal corporation. We have had in the past a very tragic incident in Surat, wherein, probably a couple of years ago, where a lot of students were stuck in a coaching institute because it did not follow the fire safety rules, and therefore it led to death of a few people. Recently, similar incidents occurred in a lot of COVID hospitals as well, which shows how seriously our commercial buildings take these fire safety rules. If you take NCRB data, especially the residential data, it says that as many as 6,000 people died because of fires and fire accident. This is just in 2019, for which we have data. We know that oxygen is highly inflammable. So if a fire breaks out in a hospital, it is all the more dangerous because nothing can really contain it, because oxygen can actually spread the fire so quickly that nothing works in the short period of time. So ICUs, which require high amount of oxygen, where oxygen is placed, and especially ICU patients are completely immobile. Given this fact, even if a fire breaks out, they can't move. So these ICU units should have more fire safety mechanisms than any other place in the hospital. And unfortunately, in the COVID crisis, we are witnessing an increase in fire accidents in these places itself. Even though the responsibility of managing the fire accidents is with urban local bodies, at the national level, there is National Building Code of India. So this is a document which is just recommendatory in nature, and the Ministry of Home Affairs asks the state governments to incorporate the principles and guidelines laid down in this national level document and add any other features which suit the needs of local buildings. So these are just recommendatory in nature. Even though they are recommendatory in nature, since MHA asks the states to follow it, it becomes sort of mandatory to follow these rules. But the problem is, even though a lot of states have this code in place, the enforcement is poor. So that is the main problem, poor enforcement. Apart from this, you also have certain NDMA guidelines which act as not just the code required for fire safety. Apart from the National Building Code, there are certain other principles which talk about the minimum space requirement and other safety measures as a part of averting any disaster and the impact when a disaster strikes. So there are no dedicated staircase or any minimum open safety spaces in a lot of buildings. So they are actually flouting all the fire safety rules. What does this National Building Code actually say? Basically, broadly defines one, the location of the building for different purposes. You cannot expect a school to be in a high traffic zone where there is a lot of noise. So secondly, it will say what kind of material specification, what kind of material should be used for indoor walls, what kind of material should be used for outdoor walls to avoid any disasters, and such kind of things. Also, there is an exception. What kind of exception? If it is very difficult to follow, then the building owners can apply for an exemption. However, there is care need to be taken to not compromise the fire safety standards of that building. But again, this exception rule has been used time and again to flout the rules completely. But is this really happening on the ground? If you take a look at the CAG report with respect to the Maharashtrian government, enforcement of this fire code has found to be very low. It is not just the case with Maharashtra, which had a lot of incidents with respect to fire safety of late. The situation is no different in other states like Kerala, Tamil Nadu as well. So this is a matter of concern which needs to be taken very seriously given the rising incidents of fire accident, and it is all the more important in hospitals, especially the ones treating COVID patients. What can be done for the future? Firstly, obvious point would be to ensure enforcement of these rules. Second point would be to encourage fire insurance, which will actually cover protection for the victims of any such events in the future as well. So that is the gist of this article. What are the important points that you have to know for prelims? Firstly, the responsibility of fire management is with urban local bodies. Secondly, what are the laws that deal with fire safety? At national level, we have the National Building Code along with National Disaster Management Authority rules for fire safety. And for mains, the key takeaway would be the suggestions given in this and strict enforcement and fire insurance. So that is the gist of this article. India suffers from a problem of inadequate state capacity. Let us have a look at the issue here. If you take a look at the data, 70% of healthcare services in India is contributed by private healthcare sector where profit is the only motive. There is no idea of welfare. Now, whenever we're talking about human development as a concept, one of the major component is health. Health, education, skills and social security are considered to be various aspects of human development. But on all these parameters, India fares pretty badly. One of the major reason with respect to health sector is the low GDP we spend on this health. 1.15% is all we spend out of our GDP for health sector. Considering the crisis that we are looking at right now, it is of monumental and epic proportions. Probably Second World War also did not see this kind of unprecedented number of deaths. There are allegations that various state governments are actually curbing the data and underreporting the number of deaths. So number of deaths is a huge concern here because it shows the monumental failure of our healthcare system, where all the challenges associated with the public health system in our country are laid wide open for the public to see. So is it time for India to reconsider and address these constraints? Yes, this is the most important takeaway from this pandemic with respect to our institutional capacity. What are the challenges associated with public health systems in India? Let us look at them one by one. Firstly, primary healthcare services. The existing public primary healthcare model in the country is very, very limited in scope. Even when there is a well-functioning system, only services related to pregnancy care, limited amount of child care and certain services related to national health programs. These services are provided in the primary health centers, but there is absolutely no sort of arrangement to address a crisis like this. This represents only 15% of the morbidities which people seek care for. Just 15%. And the fact that 60% of the population resides in rural side of the country, there is clearly supply side deficiency that you can see. What are the supply side problems? If you take a look at the poor health management skills and lack of appropriate training, it is quite visible. There is no supportive supervision for health workers in this area. There is no mechanism placed to ensure this supply of public healthcare services. And like we have already discussed, when you talk about funding, it is severely under constraint. That is the reason why National Health Policy of 2017 says that we have to increase our expenditure to 2.5%. Unfortunately for India, it took a pandemic to realize that we are underspending. And this is not a single government's fault. This is a legacy issue. Traditionally, we have been underspending for quite a while now. That is one of the major problems. Now, the next issue is with respect to jurisdiction. Even till recently, there is lack of a singular authority responsible for public health in our country. Only after the National Health Authority came into the picture, we have a nominal body that can legally be empowered to issue guidelines and enforce compliance of health standards with the technical assistance of bodies like ICMR. But again, even ICMR standards are being criticized by a lot of scientists because these protocols with respect to COVID are not getting updated from time to time. We are still depending on the data from wave 1. So this data inadequacy is also one of the major legacy issues of our health system. We don't have proper data to make policies and take decisions. So this suboptimal public health system has actually collapsed in the present crisis, especially in the cities. And the irony is that our entire healthcare system is designed to handle the communicable diseases only. Like, one of the major issues after independent India is the spread of communicable diseases like tuberculosis, etc. So vaccination program was one of the most successful campaigns of our healthcare system. But yet we have to say that our system did not handle the non-communicable diseases, or NCDs as they are commonly called, which is all about prevention and early detection, which brings us to the first point of primary healthcare. We are only focusing on maternal and child care at primary healthcare center, which we said is just 15% of the entire issues of health. So effective communication, if there was a strong effective communication at primary healthcare center, in India we have a lot of people with comorbidities that are losing their lives because of lack of awareness of this NCDs, especially in the rural part of the country. So this COVID crisis can be looked at as a wake-up call to move in the direction of taking the steps that are needed for enabling this preventive care. Today we are giving out messages about masks, sanitizers, etc. because it is a public health emergency. But at the same time, if we had the kind of commitment towards preventive care of this communicable diseases and non-communicable diseases, sanitation again in rural India is a big issue. So that also should be addressed. It requires multi-sectoral convergence to ensure the concept of One Health. One Health concept is a concept of World Health Organization which needs to be adopted across the domains. This is a concept which says that health is not just a state of absence of disease but promotes well-being, both physical and mental. Now, how do you ensure that? When you eat healthy food, when there is availability of proper sanitation facilities, when there is clean air around you, all this will matter in our life. So we are hoping that this pandemic would not only make a shift towards healthy lifestyles across the country and globe, and also we should adapt the sustainable practices, because if we don't do this, the longer it takes for us to realize that we have to move away from this business as usual approach, we will be under the bigger threat called climate change. That is the gist of this article.